Guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives, here to give you my thoughts on the brand new 20th studio album from Overkill. If you watch this channel for any period of time, you know that this is my favorite thrash band and has been since 1987. This would be now my 18th brand new release. It's really becoming an event in my life. I look forward to it. I get excited just like I did years and years ago, but just love Overkill. I think in my whole collection, probably the most consistent discography that I own. There's just not much for weakness. You know, I can't say that every album they've done is fantastic, but overall, you know, smooth sailing. They still, to this day, and I'll talk about this in today's video, they're still able to add new little spins and new little elements. And, you know, for those of you that think that Overkill puts out the same album every time, they really don't. You just really need to listen. You know, and I'm not one of those review guys that can just grab an album and listen to 1 through 10 songs and then just come up with an opinion. It just doesn't happen that way. I've been listening to this nonstop since Friday on its release day of April 14th. Just received my vinyl copy here yesterday, I think. Official release for the vinyl is the 21st. Kind of a week gap there between the digital and CD version and the vinyl version, but glad to have my copy of Scorched, and we're going to talk about this. I did jot down a few notes. You know, you're thinking about doing your video. Maybe you're in the shower and that video, you know, that video in your head that's just perfection. And then you forget everything when you sit down. So I did have to make a couple of notes, but love the band, love these guys for years, which you already probably know if you've watched, like I said, if you've watched me for any extended period of time. So 20th studio album. Longest gap we've had to wait for an Overkill album. You know, COVID was a huge factor in this, but I believe COVID really helped this album. I think the more time thing, this thing is just absolutely brilliant, and it's very soon. It's too soon to tell exactly where this one would fall in the ranking, but this is definitely, for me, it's in Ironbound territory. I believe Overkill have been on such a roll since 2010 with Ironbound, The Electric Age, White Devil Armory, The Grinding Wheel, The Wings of War, and now Scorched. So this is, like I said, their 20th studio album. Cover art by Travis Smith. So this is about 10 or 11th time that Travis has done an Overkill album cover. Initially, I wasn't that fond of this. I thought it was, I don't know, a little weird, but it's really grown on me. I love the fire flames. I love Overkill green. 10 tracks, which Overkill is typical of. I think maybe White Devil Armory had 11 tracks, and don't count the bonus tracks, but they're basically a 10-track band. They take the 10 best tracks that they've come up with. Here's the gatefold, so some more cool artwork from Travis, which, like I said, they use Travis quite a bit. And this version I picked up, and I did pick up the black version also, but I will just show you this one. This is a strictly limited edition amber with green splatter vinyl, limited to 1,000 copies. Not too concerned about the number, but I just loved the color, and I just had to have it. So I'm going to show you this here, and both centerings. So what do we say? This is amber with green splatter. It's just spectacular. It looks even better in person, but maybe even this side looks great. But the logo in the middle, just fantastic. 4-sided, so it's split up. You gotta, you know, get out of your chair and flip it over and all that. So, you know, I wish that could be avoided. Make it down to a single album. I think this is, the running time is maybe 50 minutes, something like that. So, and yeah, they didn't throw a bonus track in this time, which is good. Let me just check a couple things that I wrote down. Produced by Colin Richardson, which I am spinning the first album that Colin mixed for Overkill in the background from the Underground and Below. He also mixed Bloodletting and Killbox 13. So, excuse me. What you're going to get with a Colin Richardson mix is a more natural sound, but a heavy sound. If you've listened to albums like Killbox, which is a heavy album, and this is a heavy album too, I would say the production versus, and then why, and the other thing is why I alluded to Overkill not making the same album over and over. They do mix up, they do their own production, but they use different people to mix their albums. I know that Ironbound was Peter Tangren, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Then they used Greg Reilly for 2 albums. Then Andy Sneap for The Grinding Wheel. Then they used Chris Zeus Harris for Wings of War. And now back to Colin Richardson, which when I heard the first single, The Surgeon, which just starts off with the drum, tick, 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 just a very natural, scaled back kind of production, but heavy sounding. And that's what they wanted to achieve, and believe me, they did. So let's get into some of the tracks. We already covered off that 4-year wait, so that's the longest gap. There was one 3-year wait between the Electric Age and the Grinding Wheel. But, you know, Overkill's been always, you know, that band that has pumped out an album every 2 years. But worth the wait, 100%. Like I said, and Bobby Blitz, 63 years old, sounds fantastic on this album. There are some crazy vocals on this album. There is a couple of songs that you just haven't heard Overkill do at all, like parts of songs, let's put it that way, or not in a long time type of thing. So this one kicks off with, let's just grab this, kicks off with the title track Scorched, which is now the 3rd single. First single was The Surgeon, and then we had Wicked Place. But Scorched, honestly, when I put this album on, which was the digital version on Friday, because I couldn't wait, and I am just notorious for zero patience when it comes to some of my favorite bands. So I have heard the song The Surgeon 50 times. I've probably heard Wicked Place 40 times, and I've probably already heard every other song on here. I've probably given this album 10 to 12 spins already. I just love it. It is so catchy. Let me throw that out there right off the bat. This is a super catchy album. Memorable. There's such good variety on here too. So anyway, Scorched, 3rd single. I put it on and I was like, what? You know, it's kind of like guitar tapping. I was like, no, frick, is that Eddie Van Halen or what the hell? And then it goes right into this great riff, and then into Scorch the Earth, Scorch Your Brain. Just Blitz's lyrics are fantastic. Read along with it. Right into the song Going Home, which is a good track. And I honestly love every track, but I would say it probably might be my 2nd least favorite on the album. And then, of course, the first single, The Surgeon, is just a great song. It's just full of kind of 2 or 3 different guitar riffs, you know, as I've heard in interviews, sewn together. And that is very well explained, because that's what it sounds like. Deadly breakdown in there, heavy. Twist of the Wick is one of my favorite tracks on the album. Did I make a little note on that one? Let's see. Yes. Kind of an evil sounding opening. And you can hear the backing vocals, which Dee Dee, you can hear Dee Dee in there on lots of these tracks, just like you can any other Overkill album. He's a great backing vocalist. I wouldn't, you know, he just has that good support for Bobby's voice. There is a breakdown on that song, kind of that, I don't know, what did I put? Kind of ghostly, whoa. It's very reminiscent of the last track on The Grinding Wheel, the title track, The Grinding Wheel, where it kind of slows down. And I know on The Grinding Wheel there's kind of a bell sound or whatever, but cool breakdown, and then they go into that whoa, 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 whoa type, you know. And again, I'm not a singer by any means. Excuse me. Then we go track 5, Wicked Place. What did I write down here? Kind of a mid-paced chugger, great lyrics, groovy. I found myself really banging my head, or bobbing my head. I wouldn't say banging my head, but kind of just going along with the groove. The ending really reminded me of Anthrax, Be All End All. That, I don't know what instrument, that like a violin, you know, on Be All End All. Same thing with the ending on Wicked Place. Side C actually contains 2 of my favorite tracks. Won't Be Coming Back. Where's the lyrics for that one? It's just, like I said, so catchy. Won't Be Coming Back is not a real thrasher. It's not super speedy. It's just like in that, I don't know, just, it's got some groove. Just a great song. Where does it go? How does that go again? Right there, the chorus. Hey, we're flying high into the angry sky. I got a feeling that we won't be coming back this way. Hey, we're flying high right up there until we die. I got a feeling we won't be coming back this way. It's kind of a rah, raise your fist metal tune. Love that one. Now, Fever. Fever starts off very, I haven't heard an Overkill song start like that in a long time. Not in a long, maybe period. There are some parts, like it's just a very melodic, lower registered Bobby vocals to start. It reminds me of Ozzy Osbourne a little bit. His kind of not as nasally as Ozzy, but just check out the start of Fever. It is so cool. And then it just goes heavy, crushing, almost into Skull Crusher territory, but not that slow, but probably one of the heaviest tracks on the album, just as far as just pure heaviness. Check out Fever. Won't Be Coming Back. 2 of my favorites. And I said Going Home wasn't, you know, at the top, but by no means a bad song. But the other one I thought would be nearer to the bottom. If I had to rank all 10 songs, which even Overkill filler is better than most of the shit that's out there today, I'll tell you. They got to be proud of this album. They 100% have to be proud of this album. And it came out on the right day, April 14th. Perfect. You know what I mean. But anyways, Harder They Fall. That's what I was trying to spit out. Not one of my favorites. Did I write anything down about that one? But not a bad track. What did I write? Fast. Typical Overkill. And that's not saying anything bad. But if you want just to hear an Overkill song, one of those more, not generic, but more just in that same pattern. Yeah, Harder They Fall. Know Her Name, that one actually grew on me quite a bit. The chorus is really good on here. This is filled with great guitar playing. You know, I always thought, I wouldn't say the solos are weak on Overkill albums, but, you know, listening to this album, every solo is very fitting. It's not just thrown on top of a bunch of shit, and, you know, it's not a solo for the sake of just having a solo. In fact, actually, song 1 and 2, Scorched and Going Home, don't even have rhythm guitars layered underneath the solos, which is very cool. Overkill doesn't do that very often. So, and as you know, and I have to throw it out there before I forget to say, D.D. Verney's bass sound is so identifiable, and such a huge part of this band. It's not even funny. You know, he and Bobby really are the sound of Overkill. You have Bobby's very unique voice, and you have this killer bass player who can write songs till the cows come home, whatever. D.D. Verney, like I said, just a top-notch bass player, songwriter. But yeah, Know Her Name. What part is that? Oh yeah, and this has a freaking great booklet too. And there's the back cover. some cool Travis Smith artwork. So let's look up, oh yeah, great band shot. So, and this band, besides Jason Bittner, have been together since the year, for 20 years, because Derek joined the band around 2003-ish, let's say. Dave was in the band 2000. Of course, you know Bobby and Dee Dee. And this is Jason Bittner's second album. Top-notch drummer, and he has added a whole other element to this band that, yeah, he's the drumming on here is absolutely superb. And the production, even though it does sound modern, like I said before, that Colin Richardson element just makes this sound, I don't know, just less processed, let's say. Less, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's just, the production's awesome. So let's stay on track here. Know Your Name. Yeah, the chorus is just deadly. I can hardly read this. It's so small too. It's kind of small for such a big, if not too much to mention, between sanity and blame. With all the best intentions, do you know her name? Do you know her name? She absorbs the pain. In the coldest cold of all your winters, history remains. Do you know her name? It's, yeah, that's definitely one. It grew on me, like I said. And then Bag of Bones finishes off the album. There's no typical, not a, I wouldn't say typical, but, you know, on some of their albums, they go with this, you know, kind of off-the-wall song, like just a punky song like Welcome to the Garden State that was on Wings of War. I would say Bag of Bones is more like a couple of songs off the grinding wheel. Goddamn Trouble and Let's All Go to Hades. It's kind of a fun, lyrically song, very, excuse me, very loose sounding. And that's how this album wraps up with Bag of Bones. The chorus is super catchy. And I will swing back to, one second. Talking too much. I will swing back to, overall, this album, catchy is the word. I can now, with, you know, 10 to 12 full spins of this album, I can put on a song, I can recognize it right away, and the lyrics are, they go right in your brain, and I'm able to remember them, sing along with them, because there is so many sing-along parts in here. Let's just see if we missed anything. I don't think I missed anything, just giving you my thoughts on, excuse me, one of my favorite thrash band for years and years. And if you want to see more reviews from me in this kind of, you know, single reviews, I will attempt to do them on albums that I do purchase. I'm not that guy who, like I said, I like to review things that I will personally own and talk about and get to really know. I just don't get the whole thing of having a review up in 5 fucking minutes of the album coming out. I just, that's beyond me. Maybe I'm just old school, or maybe I'm just old, who knows. But hope you enjoyed that review of the brand new Overkill Scorched. Go and get a copy. You are going to love it. Until next time, stay heavy.